I'm watching that. Give me the remote. No, give it off.
Zach, what the bloody hell do you think you're doing? You really want to choke her out in a lot of fingers?
Yeah.
Now pull it tight. Oh, yeah, now she's in trouble.
You're from that weird family, aren't you?
We're not weird.
We don't like wrestling.
How do you know if you've never been?
I've never had rectal bleeding before, but I'm pretty sure I'm not a fan of that.
How about I shove her head up your ass and then we can find out? Hello?
My name is Hutch Morgan. I'm calling from WWE. You gonna come try out for us?
It's all fake anyway, isn't it?
What?
So you find out Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson wants to make a movie about your life story. Tell me about that moment when you find this out. Like, did you freak out? What was going on? Where were you?
I lost my mind. So it was WrestleMania 2014 in New Jersey, and I hadn't debuted on the main roster yet. So I get a text on my phone, and I already met Dwayne before, but it was very short, communication thing that we had. But he texted me, and he was just like, "Hey, it's DJ. Like, I would love to speak to you at some point." And I was like, "DJ? Like, who the hell is DJ? Like, I don't get it." And I was sitting next to Dean Malenko, who was my mentor, and he was just like, "It's Dwayne Johnson, you idiot," you know? And I was like, "What?" So, like in the movie, if you've seen it already, so there's a part where Vince Vaughn Hutch takes me to the room. So someone from his crew came and got me and took me to the room. And he came in and he was just like, "Hey, it's Dwayne." I'm like, "Yeah, no, yeah, of course, yeah. Who are you?" You know, I was like, it was like, so I was in England filming Fast and Furious, and I just thought it was, I couldn't sleep, and I was watching your documentary, Frank, with my family, and he was like, and I just thought it was wonderful. It just reminded me of my family. He was like, it was so heartfelt, it was so beautiful. We want to make a movie on it, and I was like, okay, like what? And then he was like, "Oh, and by the way, you're gonna be debuting tomorrow, you're gonna win the Divas Championship." And I'm like, what a crazy, like, 2-minute conversation we just had. I was just like, what? And I just started crying, and then he was like, "Oh, and another thing, like, no one can know about this." And I was like, got it. So I had to try and walk out the room sobbing, and Tamina, another female wrestler, was there, and she was like, "Are you okay?" Like, I was like, "Yeah, I'm just a big fan of Dwayne." Like, I don't know, like, because I couldn't say anything, so I was just walking around with snot bubbles and eyelashes flying everywhere. But that's how it came about.
Meanwhile, it's like one of the biggest moments of your life.
Exactly, and I had to be quiet about it. I was just like, how do I do it? I mean, I called my parents and my family, but...
So they make the film, you watch the film. What was like the most fun or like petrifying part of seeing your real life? Like a moment from the film that you saw?
I don't think I was ever like really petrified about people seeing the site. I was more petrified that people weren't gonna like it, you know? But like the reviews that it got, it's just so incredible. It's better than I ever expected. And I expected it to be good because, like, you know, you have talent like Stephen Merchant, you know, being the writer and director for it. I mean, come on. And then Dwayne is the producer, and MGM and everyone. It's incredible, but it just blows me away. It really does.
So now you start wrestling, I believe, at like 13 years old.
Yeah.
What was it about the sport that you first fell in love with? Because it's so much. There's performance, there's the salesmanship of it, there's the wrestling aspect. Your family was involved in all portions of it.
Right.
What was it as a little girl that you said, you know what? This is what I love about it.
Well, I've always loved watching WWE, like, whatever happens. I didn't want to get into the wrestling side of things too much because it used to scare me. I was a young girl, you know. I was like, oh, no, I couldn't get in the ring. It's too scary. My dad was short to go one day. He was like, all right, get in there. And I was like, okay. Zach was the pink Power Ranger. And it was the adrenaline rush that was so addicting. Like, walking out and just seeing the 5 fans that was in the crowd, but they were just happy to see me, you know, and I just like loved that thrill of entertaining people and being an exaggerated version of myself. It was a wonderful feeling.
Right on. And now hopefully you'll become a movie star.
Yeah, hopefully, get me in there, right?
Sorry about that.
It's The Rock.
We're huge fans.
Thank you so much.
What advice would you give us? We want to be the next you.
What are your names again?
Mine is.
It doesn't matter what your names are. You walk around here interrupting The Rock, you like you haven't seen the sun in 20 years. You like you just stepped out of Oliver Twist. Please, sir, may I have some more advice, sir? You want some advice? Here's The Rock's advice. Shut your mouth.
Thanks, Dwayne.
So let's talk about this film. You know, I feel like some people would say you're an unconventional choice to make a movie about wrestling, but I feel like you're a master storyteller when it comes to telling stories about unconventional families, from The Office to Extras. Is that what drew you to this one?
I love movies of all kinds. I love superhero movies. I love sci-fi. I love everything. I love action movies. But I do, for myself as a person to write and direct, I always come back to these, if you like, slightly smaller, more relatable, intimate stories. I think that this one actually has a lot of scale and scope because she ends up, you know, performing in front of thousands of people. But at the core of it is this family relationship. And that was what I dialed into. This young woman, she's got these dreams of going to America, leaving her tiny town, pursuing it, trying to make it in the big time. But these are dreams not just that she's carrying for herself, but also she's carrying for the family. a lot of weight of expectation from them. She's a woman who's alone. She's 4,000 miles from home. You know, can she make it? It's rare you find this, a real life Rocky-style underdog story. And I just thought that was so relatable and so lovely, and the relationship with her brother was so tender and so strained and difficult, and the family is so eccentric and colourful. It just had all the things that I look for in a film, and the fact it happened to be about wrestling, not something that, you're right, was a natural fit for me, was almost here and there. I kept thinking of movies like Billy Elliot. I don't think you need to like ballet to love this story of this little boy who wants to be a ballet dancer. So yeah, I think the wrestling's almost here and there.
Talk about this family. You know, they are an unconventional family, eccentric family. What did you take away most from them when, you know, did they say to anything, look, you're telling our story, you have to do this, you have to get this right? What was your biggest takeaway from meeting them and telling their story?
Well, I felt a responsibility to get their story right. Firstly, because, you know, they are real people with real lives. Secondly, because they're wrestlers and they could break my legs if I get it wrong. They're very honest, they're very open, and they talk. What's important to me is these are not perfect people. They are flawed individuals, as are my family, as are most people's families. And I didn't want to paint them like they were saints. You know, Ricky, the father, will talk openly about the fact that he had done jail time at a young age, as his wife says, mainly for violence. And so there's a lot of humour there, but there's a lot of sort of darkness and tragedy in the past. And wrestling was something that drew them out of that. That was something that they talk about it like a religion, like it saved their lives. And so that passion they have for this thing, which I didn't know anything about, I really found very moving, and I didn't want to mock them. I didn't want to satirize them or wrestling. I wanted to just celebrate this warts and all family, flawed but loving, and I hope that's what we've done. You know, and they are perfect characters. They're ready-made because they're larger than life. They speak in a certain way. And then having this cast who could have then kind of embody those people was a godsend.
What?
It's Dwayne Johnson. How are you?
Prove it.
If you smell what The Rock is cooking.
Yeah, and I'm Vin Diesel, mate.
I'm sorry.
So this film, you know, it's got it's about an unconventional family. It's got the wrestling aspects. For you guys, what was the most important thing for you to really understand most? Was it the wrestling part of this film, or was it this family and what they meant to each other?
I think the second thing. I think it's the family and the specifically uniqueness of this family. Yeah, but I think it's about a family unit that is trying to sort of achieve things individually, but also trying to stay as a family, and they ultimately do. That is what seems to be the message of the film: is that that family is more important than a big contract.
Yeah, and it, you know, wrestling could be anything. Could be kayaking or ceramic, pottery making. You know what I mean? It's about family, and that it's not easy, but you're kind of stuck with them. But
yeah,
you know, they will never stop fighting for each other. You know.
You know, in wrestling, the wrestlers are known for a move, a finishing move that they're known for. It kind of defines them as their character. What are you guys known for? If somebody came to you and said, you know, Nick's known for this, you know,
what would the move be? Or...
Yeah, not the move necessarily, but just in life, what are you known for? Are you the guy that always takes a last coffee, or always, you know?
I always leave something on my plate. I always do.
For real?
Not out of choice either. I just
leave a little.
I just always have to leave something. I don't know why.
Huh.
There you go.
Maybe I'd like to be the guy that follows Jack and just eats the little bit he leaves.
A little bit.
Yeah.
That's what he has.
It's thinking of others is what it ultimately is.
Yeah.
How important was it? Now you guys shot in the town, right, where the family's from, and
Some of it, yeah, in Norwich, in East Anglia, Norfolk.
how important was it to the film to be there and to sort of? And
I think for the exteriors it was important, obviously, but we shot a lot of it in London. But I think what did we do? We did some up and pass, and all the scenes in the market are there. And
yes, we did. We covered.
You guys run in
Norwich's famous covered market, which is a massive landmark, and we also there's a hill outside a prison.
And I mentioned
it says a lot about a town where the most famous thing is a hill outside a prison.
I have no idea who I'm supposed to be out there.
You're not just doing this for you. You're doing it for the family.
What was the most important thing that you learned from Paige, and did it have to do with her family, or was it about wrestling?
That I learned from her, I don't think it was about family or wrestling. I think family was something that was a given, is something that is with her and supports her throughout the whole thing, and that's so wonderful to watch. Wrestling, that's something that she can do, and she's brilliant at that. The thing that I completely fell in love with and I loved learning from her was like being your own voice and being so proud of the fact that you are utterly different and you are a little bit wonky, and there is nothing wrong with that, and really owning it. And I think that's what wrestling fans, and that's hopefully what I think, well, wrestling fans before the film came out will come out, and our fans are now coming from the film. I hope that's something that they're attracted to, and with the real Paige as well.
Right on. Lena, what was something that you learned from this family's unconventional family that you're applying to your own life? Was there anything you took away that you thought was interesting?
I don't think I took anything away because I've got my own family unit, and I think we're pretty in our groove, making it happen. But I love the Knights. I think they're extraordinary, and what I love and admire about them is they're totally honest. Like, there's no whispering behind doors. There's no kind of hiding anything. It's all dirty, pretty, shitty, brilliant. It's all out there for them all to kind of jump in and discuss. And I think that's why they work and why we love them in this film.
You know, wrestlers are known for having like a finishing move. That's kind of what they're known for, defined by. If we asked your friends and family what you're known for, you know, whether or not you like too much coffee, whether or not you're a big fan girl of Game of Thrones, what would they say about you?
What am I known for? I mean, I'm known for having a really weird laugh.
No. Oh, I wonder what you can say.
No,
It's like,
I
don't
was
say
going
that
to say
here.
really weird noise. I make a very funny noise with my throat. So I wonder if maybe that's maybe I do that sound when I'm wrestling.
It's your signature.
Yeah, yeah. What are you going to be known for? Choo choo.
That's my wrestling move.
Yeah, I know.
It's not real. I don't really do that.
Oh, okay.
It's fantasy.